No surprise here that week 3 LSU-Ole Miss is going to be a tough ticket. Brad Logan, who covers sports over in the state of Mississippi, great guy. I think occasionally he listens to our content. I listen to his. He sent out the screen grab of tickets for next year or this year's week 3 game in Oxford. I mean, we're a long way away, and these prices aren't going to go down, are they, LT? Get-in price, $420 to that game for LSU at Ole Miss. Some tickets getting up there to the $1,500 range. That ticket's only going to go up. Where do you think the landing spot's going to be, guys, for that ticket?
I can't even imagine by that point because it's going to be so early in the year. Like, Ole Miss has got to get by Louisville. Again, they're an 8.5-point favorite right now. I think that number will probably stay around there. If they were to lose to Louisville, this thing probably tanks. But as long as they beat Louisville and then Charlotte, they're 2-0, they're ranked. I think a get-in anywhere in the stadium is probably about right at $500, and I think the premium seats are going to be $1,000. And I think Ole Miss fans will be lubed up enough to probably pay that price. That's a crazy-ass early September ticket in the SEC to pay.
You're not kidding. Small venue, too, so that contributes. I mean, 60, what are they up to now? 68,000, something like that, I think.
You got to think LSU fans are going to be, if they get by Clemson, they're going to be really excited to go all in.
And always travel well. Like LSU fans travel well, and that's a close travel for them. And I guess the Magnolia Bowl's a big game. Is that still a big rivalry, you think, for LSU fans?
It's always been big for Ole Miss for sure.
Yeah, I don't know how LSU fans feel about the Ole Miss game. It's a historic rivalry. But, boy, it is as juiced as it's ever been now.
Yeah, I mean, if you're on the LSU side, I mean, is there really anything here? It seems like it's really one-sided. I mean, LSU's just all in on Lane Kiffin and, hey, let's try to win a championship. But I don't think they look at Ole Miss and say, hey, this game's special.
No, this is Ole Miss's national championship.
Yeah, it really is.
Well, I mean, Lane Kiffin quote tweeted Brad Logan's tweet that he sent out last night, and he said, what's his saying now at LSU? It's just different. It's just different. He put, it's just different. That's his, come to the SIP, that kind of stuff. That he's
Mo
doing
money, mo problems.
At LSU. And we got Lane Kiffin as spring practice continues. He gets news that Sam Levitt, more on that in a second, is going to be done for the rest of spring. But he got into talking about the 9-game SEC schedule yesterday. And if you remember the SEC meetings when all the coaches from all the sports and the athletic directors and the presidents meet down in Destin, they all came out unified. Yeah, moving to 9 and it's a good thing. We need to do it for the league. We need to do it, blah, 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 blah. That has changed tremendously because the college football playoffs didn't expand, and the coaches now are being very outspoken publicly about how they really feel about the 9-game SEC football schedule. Here's Lane Kiffin yesterday.
Yeah, again, I'm not going to complain about it. I was very outspoken in meetings with the commissioner, with presidents, athletic directors. That was not, in my opinion, that was not a good idea until the system of how they selected teams was fixed. Until it was fixed that there were automatic bids, until it was truly fixed that a strength of schedule matters how it should, much more like basketball does. Until that's fixed, it made zero sense to me to go add another hard game, put teams on the road 5 times in this conference, which top to bottom is the hardest conference to play in and the hardest stadiums. I don't think that anybody now that they've kind of seen how selections have gone, thinks that there's value in that from that standpoint, and you're going to continue to have this, in my opinion, this threshold until they go to more teams or a different system that 10-2's in, 9-3's out. So you just got some more losses in your conference and beat yourself up more, which is different than any other conference plays from a toughness standpoint.
I'm not going to trash it because in the room I made my feelings known, and then he goes through the whole process. But he's not wrong when it comes to the selection process, and it does seem that way. 10-2 and 9-3 seems to be the threshold unless you win an automatic bid. Alabama did get in with 3 losses last year, but that third loss came in the SEC championship game. That sort of is where we draw the line, right? Tomorrow we're going to have our SEC tiers that Brooks is putting together for us. We'll talk about that. But, I mean, we go into this season, and one of us will predict will be a 9-3 team that gets into the playoffs, I'm sure. But that seems to be the line we all draw, that 10-2's in, 9-3's out.
Well, we always talked about, would a 2-loss team be in the 4-team playoff? I don't think we ever got that, did we?
I don't think so.
Yeah.
No.
I do think that we will get a 3-loss sooner than later, because I think what will happen is you'll have a team that will lose a game early, maybe even lose 3 before the break, and then they roll off 6 and they're playing like the best team in college football. I don't think it'll happen a lot. And I brought this up yesterday specifically with Lane Kiffin. If they were to go 9-3, I think the committee, based on the numbers that are being thrown around with that roster, would hold that against Lane Kiffin to be like, how in the hell does this team lose 3 games they don't deserve to be in?
I mean, teams have done this before, but you used to be able to avoid this. What this has created is LSU having to close with 7 consecutive conference games. Now, the Big Ten will scoff at that because most of them play 9 consecutive conference games.
That's right.
Now, they do get a bye week in there, but 7 consecutive conference games, 4 of which are on the road. At Kentucky, at Auburn, at Tennessee, and at Arkansas. So, I mean, it's not the easiest landing. It's not the easiest runway there for LSU once they get past that McNeese game, which is their last non-conference game. So, I mean, that's one thing that has created this 9-game schedule is teams are now going to have to start finishing with 7 or 8 consecutive conference games. We're used to you could throw in a directional school in that last month of the year to catch a breather and get healthy.
Yeah, it's the 5 road games on some years. That's going to be a really tough challenge. Also,
and they're one of the 5 road game teams, LSU is.
That's right.
Yeah.
Some years you are going to be a 5 road game.
Yep.
Some years you can be 5 home games. It doesn't help if your quarterback isn't healthy throughout that schedule, and it's tough to keep a quarterback healthy in major college football, any college football. Sam Leavitt is out the rest of spring. Not a big deal. Lane Kiffin explains the surgery this week and the panic level that shouldn't be in Baton Rouge with Sam Leavitt being out the rest of spring.
Yeah, none of these are surprise. This is the timeline we expected, and had the screw removed yesterday, and everything went well. It was something that going into it we were going to know that, it was going to be unfortunate. He was going to miss spring a lot of it, but that was going to allow the other guys opportunities, and just kind of looked at things, I just feel nowadays, it's a little easier to play quarterback than it used to be years ago as far as how long you've been there. If you look around the country, people transfer and go play at new places, and look at the previous place we were at. The guy didn't get there till the summer. Kind of that went into the decision where I feel like years ago you've been really concerned that the quarterback's going to miss your spring. He's done a great job mentally in the meetings and walkthroughs and able to throw some individual before this procedure.
Yeah, so it took the pins out from the surgery he'd had, so just a cleanup there, but he's done the rest of spring. He is right that his old school, the kid that didn't get there until midsummer, didn't win the quarterback job. Lane had him sitting on the bench, but eventually he was the best quarterback on the field and one of the best of them coming back this year in Trinidad Chambliss.
Well, I probably would have said this last year with Austin Simmons. Like, there's no chance that he's not your starting quarterback at the end of the year, especially if you're in a college football playoff, barring an injury, major injury. But Sam Leavitt, this is a guy that's 16-4 as a starting quarterback. He has got experience at the playoff level. He's won a conference championship. And when healthy, he is one of the best quarterbacks in college football. Did we ever hear the price that they paid for him?
We didn't, but no. I bet it was
probably $3 or $4 million.
Yeah, probably. If I had to guess, somewhere in there, they were throwing money around.
Yeah, remember he was the kid that was with him, right? Sitting at a basketball game courtside.
Yep.
When a different quarterback story broke. Was it Brendan Sorsby?
Maybe, to Texas Tech.
I don't.
Yeah, you're on it. You're around it.
I think it was the DeMond Washington, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was DeMond Washington was going to leave Washington, and LSU. He was going to visit LSU.
That's right.
And Sam Leavitt was on campus, and they were at a basketball game, sitting together, and Leavitt was looking at his phone, and according to reports, was, "Hey, what's going on here?"
Who's visiting LSU?
But they circled back around and made Leavitt feel really comfortable there at LSU.